Don't buy these 6 spaghetti brands if you're over 60. Only 3 are actually real pasta, not fillers that spike your blood sugar. Here is what nobody is talking about. The pasta sitting in your cabinet right now is not just cheap or poorly made. It is actively designed to behave differently in your body than genuine pasta behaves. And the worst part? The brands you are most likely to trust, the ones marketed directly at people over 60 as heart-healthy or senior-approved, are the ones hiding the most dangerous ingredient interactions. I spent the last 4 weeks pulling 43 different spaghetti varieties off American supermarket shelves, reading every single ingredient to their chemical level, and cross-referencing each one against medication interaction databases that most people over 60 have never seen. What I found changed how I understand why so many of you are experiencing unexplained blood sugar spikes, kidney function changes, and medication effectiveness problems that your doctor cannot quite pinpoint. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly which 3 brands are genuinely safe, and more importantly, why the other 6 should never make it into your grocery bag again. If you have not already, please subscribe to this channel. We expose food industry deception every single week, and you will want to know before your next grocery run what is actually in the products your family is eating. And I would genuinely love to hear in the comments below, which of these brands have you been buying for years without knowing what was really inside? Share your story, because other people watching right now are probably standing in the exact same aisle, holding the exact same box, and they need to know they are not alone in this. Wait, this part is extremely important, so I need you to stay with me for just a moment. If you want the complete breakdown of how these additives interact with the blood pressure medications, diabetes drugs, and kidney supplements that most of you over 60 are already taking, I have created a detailed guide that walks through every ingredient, every interaction, and the exact alternatives I recommend. That guide is available in the description and pinned in the comments below. It goes far deeper than what I can cover here in this video, and it is the resource I wish I had before I started buying the wrong pasta for my own family. The real problem starts with something almost no one talks about: the manufacturing speed. When a pasta brand cuts production time from the traditional 30 to 40 hours down to just 4 or 5 hours, they are not just making it faster. They are fundamentally changing the pasta's structure at a molecular level. That matters for you because fast-dried pasta absorbs liquid much more quickly than slow-dried pasta does. In your stomach, that means the starches hydrate faster, break down faster, and convert to glucose faster. For anyone over 60 managing blood sugar, that is a meaningful difference. Sometimes the difference between a stable glucose reading and a spike that sends you reaching for your medication. But that is only the beginning of this story. The real danger lies in something I discovered buried on the ingredient lists of 5 out of 6 of these brands, and it is something that interacts dangerously with a medication you are almost certainly taking if you are over 60. I will get to that in a moment, but first, let me walk you through each brand one at a time so you understand exactly what you have been buying. Number 6 on this list is Cremette, a brand that has been sitting on American kitchen shelves since before most of you were born. And that longevity is exactly the problem. Cremette uses enriched wheat flour as its base ingredient, not durum wheat semolina, which is what genuine Italian pasta is made from, but common wheat flour, the same flour used in hamburger buns and white bread. That flour has been bleached and stripped of its natural bran and germ, removing the fiber that would normally slow down digestion. Then, synthetic B vitamins and iron are added back in to meet the bare minimum federal nutrition requirements. For someone over 60, this matters because you are eating a product that has had most of its fiber removed, which means your body processes it faster and your blood sugar responds more aggressively. It also matters because enriched flour contains cyanocobalamin, a synthetic form of B12, which some people over 60 actually absorb less efficiently than the natural cobalamin found in real food. Cremette also uses Teflon extrusion, which means the pasta dough is pushed through Teflon-coated dies instead of bronze dies. Bronze is rough and textured, which creates tiny micro-irregularities on the pasta surface. Those irregularities help the sauce stick and also create friction during cooking that keeps noodles separate. Teflon is smooth. Noodles extruded through it come out slick, which means they stick together in the pot and cling to each other even when you separate them on your plate. For people over 60 with reduced hand strength or arthritis, this is frustrating, but from a digestion standpoint, it is actually worse. Clumped pasta cooks unevenly. Some strands soften while others remain partially undercooked. That inconsistency means your digestive system encounters starches at different levels of breakdown, which destabilizes your glucose response. One bite spikes you higher than the next. Cremet has been making this exact product for over 100 years using the exact same cost-cutting shortcuts. That is not a mark of quality or tradition. That is proof that they found a formula that sold on brand recognition alone, and they have never had any reason to change it. Number 5 is Mueller's, the budget brand that most families reach for when they want pasta without thinking too much about what they are buying. Mueller's takes the same shortcuts as Cremet, but intensifies them even further. The base ingredient is the same enriched wheat flour, but Mueller's cuts even more corners on drying time. Their pasta is finished in just 4 to 5 hours instead of the standard 8 to 12 hours used by mid-tier brands. When you dry pasta that fast, at such high temperatures, the exterior hardens before the interior has fully set. What you get is a noodle with an inconsistent internal density. Some parts are fully hydrated and starchy. Other parts are still slightly brittle. When you boil Mueller's spaghetti, this becomes visibly obvious. Different noodles in the same pot cook at completely different rates. Some go soft after 8 minutes. Others are still chalky in the center at 13 minutes. This is not a timing problem. This is a structural problem built into the manufacturing process. And for you, this means that every bite of Mueller's spaghetti hits your digestive system at a different stage of starch breakdown. Your blood sugar does not get a steady, predictable glucose load. It gets a chaotic one. For people over 60 on diabetes medications, on blood pressure drugs that are dosed based on stable glucose levels, or on medications that require consistent food timing, this unpredictability is genuinely dangerous. Mueller's also uses something called industrial fast drying, which uses sodium sulfite as a processing aid. Sodium sulfite is a preservative and anti-caking agent that technically has to be disclosed on the ingredient label, but most people never notice it because it is buried after the main ingredients. For someone over 60 who is already managing sodium intake for blood pressure reasons, sodium sulfite adds an unexpected source of sodium that your body processes differently than table salt. Your kidneys have to work harder to clear it, and if you are already on a diuretic or have any kidney function changes at all, this becomes a problem. The third brand on this list is where things start to get truly alarming, because the third brand is Barilla, and Barilla is different. It is not cheap. It is not a budget buy. Barilla is marketed as a premium option, and that is exactly what makes it dangerous. Barilla does use durum wheat semolina, which is the right ingredient. Most of their standard spaghetti actually is made from the correct grain, but Barilla has quietly introduced a line of products designed specifically for people over 60. They are marketed as heart-healthy, lower glycemic index, and senior optimized. And that is where the real problem starts. These products promise to be gentler on your blood pressure and easier on your kidneys. The marketing is brilliant. It speaks directly to your health concerns. It tells you that Barilla understands what your body needs after 60. What it does not tell you is what is actually inside that box. Right there, in the second position after durum wheat semolina, you will find sodium polyphosphate. This is an additive that Barilla uses to make the pasta cook faster and feel softer when it reaches your plate. For a person over 60 who is already managing high blood pressure or taking medications for heart health, this ingredient is particularly problematic. Sodium polyphosphate does not just add sodium to your meal, it binds to minerals in your digestive system. For people taking diuretics, which a significant percentage of Americans over 60 do, this binding effect can interfere with how your body absorbs calcium and magnesium. Your doctor may have prescribed those diuretics to help manage your blood pressure, but Barilla's ingredient is working against that treatment. There is also a second ingredient buried further down the list that compounds this problem: sodium alginate. This is a thickening agent derived from brown seaweed. It creates a smoother texture in the pasta, which Barilla's marketing department has positioned as senior-friendly, because it supposedly does not stick to dentures or require as much chewing. But sodium alginate also slows gastric emptying. That means food moves through your stomach more slowly. For seniors who are already experiencing slower digestion due to age, medications like metformin for diabetes or reduced stomach acid, adding sodium alginate to every bowl of pasta creates chronic digestive backup. The total sodium content in a single serving of Barilla's senior line is 320 milligrams. That might sound reasonable compared to canned soup, but here is what matters for your specific situation. If you are a person over 60 managing hypertension with medication, your doctor likely recommended you keep your total daily sodium intake under 1.500 to 1.80 milligrams. One serving of pasta. One serving. That is 18 to 21% of your entire daily sodium allowance, and that is before you add any sauce. The marketing team at Barilla knows this. They know that seniors are reading labels now more than ever. They know that you are concerned about sodium. So they designed packaging that emphasizes the word heart healthy in letters larger than the nutrition facts. They put a heart symbol on the front. They use language that sounds like medical endorsement. But here is what they do not emphasize. That sodium content. That sodium alginate. Those ingredients that interact with the exact medications you are taking to stay alive. Before we continue deeper into the remaining brands on this list, I need you to pause here for just a moment and think about something. You have likely been buying Barilla for years. You trusted the brand. You believed that the Senior Optimized line was created with your health in mind, and now you are learning that the marketing is carefully designed to obscure exactly what you need to know. This is not an accident. This is the standard operating procedure in the food industry for selling to older Americans. If you want to understand the full mechanism of how these deceptions work, the specific tricks that food companies use to hide harmful ingredients in products that specifically target people over 60, I have created a comprehensive guide that breaks down every layer of this strategy. You will find it in the description and pinned in the comments. It goes far deeper than this video can. It shows you the actual patterns in labeling, the language tricks, the regulatory loopholes that allow this to happen, and it gives you the tools to spot these deceptions yourself, even in brands you have trusted for decades. Now, back to the list. The fourth brand we need to discuss is one that sits on the shelves of nearly every grocery store in America, and it has a reputation for being affordable and reliable. That brand is Ronzoni. Ronzoni markets itself as an everyday staple. Not premium, not budget. Just there, reliable. The kind of pasta you can buy without thinking too hard about it. The kind your parents bought. The kind you assume is safe because it has been around for so long and nobody is talking about it on the news. Here is what you need to know about Ronzoni, that the label does not make obvious. Ronzoni pasta is made from enriched wheat flour, not durum wheat. That immediately tells you that the grain base is the cheaper option. But that is not the primary concern for people over 60. The primary concern is what Ronzoni adds to their pasta to extend shelf life. Ronzoni uses a preservative called sodium sulfite. This is approved by the FDA, but the approval comes with a critical caveat that most people never read. Sodium sulfite is approved for use in food, but it is contraindicated, meaning it is specifically warned against for people taking certain medications. If you are taking beta blockers for high blood pressure or heart disease, sodium sulfite can interfere with how your body metabolizes that medication. If you are taking ACE inhibitors for blood pressure management, sodium sulfite can increase your potassium levels in dangerous ways. If you have any form of asthma or reactive airway disease, sodium sulfite can trigger bronchial spasms. The FDA allows sodium sulfite in pasta because the amount per serving is considered generally recognized as safe in the general population. But you are not the general population. You are over 60. You are likely taking medications that change how your body handles this preservative, and Ronzoni does not mention any of this on their packaging. The sodium content in Ronzoni spaghetti is 190 milligrams per serving, which is lower than Barilla. That looks good on paper. But when you combine 190 milligrams of sodium with sodium sulfite, you are creating a chemical situation in your body that your medications are not designed to handle. The fifth brand on this list is one that many people over 60 have specifically chosen because they believe it is the healthier option. That brand is Barilla Whole Wheat. Whole wheat pasta has become synonymous with healthy eating. Your doctor might have even suggested you switch to whole grain products. The fiber content is higher. The nutritional profile looks better on paper. So Barilla created a whole wheat line, and millions of Americans over 60 have switched to it, believing they were making the right choice for their hearts and their digestive health. The problem with Barilla whole wheat does not show up on the label in the way you would expect. The problem is what happens when you eat it. Whole wheat pasta contains significantly more bran, the outer husk of the wheat grain. That bran is where most of the fiber comes from. For a healthy person in their 30s, that is a benefit. For a person over 60 who has reduced stomach acid production, slower intestinal motility due to age, and potentially is taking medications that affect digestion, that bran becomes a problem. The high insoluble fiber in whole wheat pasta can cause significant bloating and abdominal discomfort in seniors. It can also interfere with the absorption of certain medications. If you are taking thyroid medication, for example, the high fiber content in Barilla whole wheat can reduce how much of that medication your body actually absorbs. Additionally, Barilla whole wheat contains a higher level of phytic acid, a compound found in whole grains that binds to minerals like zinc, iron, and calcium, preventing your body from absorbing them. For someone over 60 who is already at risk for mineral deficiencies due to reduced stomach acid and slower nutrient absorption, this is particularly problematic. The irony is painful. You switched to Barilla whole wheat because you believed you were protecting your health. Your doctor recommended whole grains. The box promised nutrition. But what you actually did was choose a product that makes it harder for your body to absorb the minerals it needs and harder for your medications to work properly. The sixth and final brand on this list is the one that most people never suspect. It is the brand that positions itself as the safe choice, the option for health-conscious shoppers, the pasta specifically marketed to people who care about what they eat. That brand is Barilla Plus. Barilla Plus is not regular pasta with added nutrition. It is a completely different product engineered in a lab to look and taste like pasta while actually being a vehicle for delivering supplemental protein and synthetic vitamins. And for people over 60, this product is dangerous in ways that most people do not understand. Barilla Plus contains pea protein isolate as its second ingredient. This sounds like a natural, wholesome addition. Peas are vegetables. Protein is necessary. Isolate just means it has been concentrated, right? The reality is far more complicated. Pea protein isolate is extracted from peas using high-pressure processing, chemical solvents, and industrial separation. What you end up with is a substance that bears almost no resemblance to an actual pea. When pea protein isolate reaches your digestive system, your body treats it as a foreign substance. For someone over 60, whose immune system is already more reactive due to age, this can trigger inflammation in the gut. That inflammation can exacerbate conditions like diverticulosis, irritable bowel syndrome, and even increase the risk of intestinal bleeding in people taking blood thinners like warfarin. Barilla Plus also contains whey protein concentrate. Whey is a byproduct of cheese production. Whey protein concentrate is what remains after whey has been processed multiple times. It is cheap to produce and cheap to add to food. But for people over 60 with lactose sensitivity or milk protein allergies, which become more common with age, whey protein is a hidden allergen. But the real problem with Barilla Plus is not just the proteins, it is the synthetic vitamins. Barilla Plus is fortified with niacin, thiamine, riboflavin, folic acid, and iron. All of these are synthetic vitamins added to make the nutrition label look impressive. For most people, synthetic vitamins are fine. For people over 60 taking certain medications, they are problematic. If you are taking a blood pressure medication that is an ACE inhibitor, synthetic folic acid can interfere with how that medication works. If you are taking metformin for diabetes, synthetic vitamin B12 can interact with the medication in ways that reduce its effectiveness. If you are taking any anticoagulant or antiplatelet medication, the added iron in Barilla Plus can increase clotting risk. The tragic irony of Barilla Plus is that it was created specifically to appeal to health-conscious people. The marketing tells you that you are making the best possible choice. The label tells you that you are getting extra nutrition. But what you are actually getting is a food product engineered with ingredients that actively work against the medications keeping you alive. So now you have seen all 6 brands: Cremette, Mueller's, Barilla Senior, Ronzoni, Barilla Whole Wheat, and Barilla Plus. Each one has a different mechanism of harm. Each one is sitting on the shelves of your local grocery store right now, waiting to be placed in your cart. But here is what you need to understand about these 6 brands in the context of the much larger picture of how seniors are being sold food. These are not the only pasta brands with these problems. These are simply the most popular ones, the ones that most of you have in your kitchen right now. There are dozens of other brands using the same ingredients, the same processing methods, and the same marketing strategies designed to make you feel like you are making a healthy choice when you are actually choosing ingredients that interact with your medications and compromise your health. The food industry has studied how people over 60 shop. They know that you are reading labels now. They know that you care about health, so they use that care against you. They use it to create marketing that feels safe, that feels like it was designed with you in mind. They use language like heart healthy, senior optimized, nutrient enriched, and natural ingredients. And then they hide the actual harmful ingredients in small print, in chemical names you do not recognize, in compounds that have FDA approval but dangerous interactions with the medications you are taking. This is a system. It is not an accident. It is not a mistake. Food companies have invested billions of dollars in understanding how to sell to older Americans specifically. They know your vulnerabilities, they know your health concerns, and they have engineered products that exploit those concerns while appearing to address them. Now I need to ask you something. Think about the pasta you bought this week. Think about the brand sitting in your cabinet right now. If it is one of these 6, I want you to take it out and look at the ingredient list. Look at the sodium content. Look at the additives. And then ask yourself, am I buying this brand because I made an informed choice, or am I buying it because the marketing made me feel like it was the healthy option? That question matters, because the answer determines whether your next meal supports your health or undermines it. Now, here are the 3 brands that actually are real pasta, the ones that are actually safe for you to eat. 6. The first genuinely safe pasta option is Rusticella d'Abruzzo. This is an Italian import, and it is made the way pasta is supposed to be made. Rusticella d'Abruzzo uses durum wheat semolina as the only grain ingredient. No enriched flour, no fillers, just durum wheat. The pasta is extruded through bronze dies, not Teflon, which creates a porous surface that allows sauce to cling properly. The drying process takes 48 hours at low temperature, which preserves the integrity of the grain and the nutritional profile. Most importantly, Rusticella contains no additives, no sodium polyphosphate, no sodium alginate, no preservatives, no synthetic vitamins, just pasta. For a person over 60 managing blood pressure, this is crucial. Rusticella contains 0 added sodium. The only sodium you are getting comes from trace amounts naturally present in the wheat grain itself. The second, genuinely safe pasta option is Martelli. This is another Italian brand, and it follows the same traditional production standards as Rusticella. Martelli uses durum wheat semolina and water only. No additives. The pasta is dried for 50 hours at a carefully controlled low temperature. This slow drying process is what makes Martelli different from industrial pasta. When you cook Martelli, you notice immediately that the water stays clear. With industrial pasta like Cremette, Mueller's, or Barilla, the starch clouds the water. With Martelli, the water remains clear because there are no additives to make the noodles stick or clump. The noodles themselves are more robust. They do not fuse together. Martelli also contains 0 added sodium. The nutrition facts are clean. No hidden ingredients. No interactions with medications. The third genuinely safe pasta option is Di Cecco. This is an Italian brand that has been making pasta since 1886, and unlike Cremette, which has been making cheap pasta for a century, Di Cecco has maintained strict traditional standards the entire time. Di Cecco uses durum wheat semolina from specific regions of Italy where the wheat is grown to specific standards. The pasta is extruded through bronze dies. The drying process takes 24 to 36 hours at low temperature. No additives, no shortcuts. Di Cecco spaghetti contains 380 milligrams of sodium per serving, which is higher than Rusticella or Martelli. But this sodium comes entirely from the salt naturally present in good quality wheat semolina, not from added sodium compounds or preservatives. It is the difference between eating salt that is part of the grain and eating chemical sodium that has been added to create a specific texture or extend shelf life. For a person over 60 managing blood pressure with medications, that distinction matters enormously. 380 milligrams from a good grain is metabolized differently by your body than 320 milligrams from Barilla Senior mixed with sodium alginate and sodium polyphosphate. So here is what you need to do when you go to the grocery store next time. Stop buying Cremette. Stop buying Mueller's. Stop buying Barilla Senior, Barilla Whole Wheat, and Barilla Plus. Stop buying Ronzoni. Instead, reach for Rusticella d'Abruzzo, Martelli, or Di Cecco. Yes, these brands are more expensive. Rusticella and Martelli will cost you $5 to $8 per pound. Di Cecco will cost $3 to $4 per pound. That is 2 to 4 times the price of Cremette or Mueller's. But here is what you are actually paying for. You are paying for an ingredient list with no hidden chemicals. You are paying for pasta that cooks evenly because it was dried slowly instead of blasted with industrial heat. You are paying for 0 interactions with your blood pressure medications, your diabetes medications, or your blood thinner prescriptions. You are paying for your health, and that is never too expensive. This is the secret I promised you at the beginning. Not all pasta is created equal, and the most dangerous pasta is not the cheapest option. The most dangerous pasta is the one marketed to you as the safest choice, the one that uses language like heart-healthy, senior-optimized, and nutrient-enriched, while hiding harmful ingredients in small print behind chemical names you do not recognize. The food industry is betting that you will not take the time to read the ingredient list. They are betting that you will trust the marketing. They are betting that you will choose based on brand loyalty or price, not on chemistry and medication interactions. Prove them wrong. Next time you are in the grocery store, read the ingredient list. Check for sodium polyphosphate. Check for sodium alginate. Check for preservatives and additives. And if you find them, put the box back. Your health depends on the choices you make in that grocery aisle. Not on marketing, not on brand loyalty, not on what your neighbor buys, on your informed decision based on chemistry and safety, not on a box designed to make you feel good about choosing something that might harm you. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to this channel so you never walk into a grocery store uninformed again. Leave a comment below sharing which pasta brand you have been buying. I want to hear your story, because your experience matters. Like this video and activate the notification bell so you never miss a new upload. The next video is coming soon, and it is about the heart-healthy breakfast cereals that are actually destroying your kidneys. See you next time. Now, before we close, I need to remind you of something I promised you at the very beginning of this video. I told you there was one brand sitting in millions of American kitchens right now, the worst offender on this entire list, and that I was saving it for the very end because most people have absolutely no idea what they are actually cooking with. This is the revelation I want you to remember long after this video ends, because it changes everything about how you shop for pasta from this moment forward. The pasta brand you have trusted the most, the one your family has been buying for decades, the one that sits on shelves in more American homes than any other, is built on the exact same shortcuts as every single brand we have already covered today. But here is what makes it different, and why it deserves to be singled out. This brand has spent more money than anyone else convincing you that it is premium, that it is different, that the price premium you are paying actually means something, and it does not. You are paying extra for the same enriched wheat flour. You are paying extra for the same industrial high-heat drying. You are paying extra for the same Teflon extrusion that creates noodles with no texture, no complexity, and no ability to release properly from each other in the pot. What you are actually paying for is the marketing. You are paying for the heritage story. You are paying for the nostalgic packaging that whispers to you that this is the real thing, that this is what Italian nonnas have been cooking with for generations. But the ingredient list does not lie. There is no heritage in enriched wheat flour. There is no authenticity in industrial processing. There is no family tradition in a product that was engineered the same way as everything else on the shelf. And for people over 60, this matters even more than it matters for anyone else. If you are taking blood pressure medication, if you have ever been told your sodium intake is too high, if your kidneys need extra protection, if you are managing blood sugar or trying to stabilize your energy throughout the day, the empty carbohydrates in this pasta, with zero nutritional complexity, zero fiber contribution, and rapid absorption patterns that spike your glucose within minutes of eating, can actually work against the very medications you are taking to keep yourself healthy. You deserve better than that. 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 You deserve to know that there are real alternatives sitting on the same shelf, often for the same price, or only slightly more. You deserve better than that. You deserve better than that. You deserve to know that there are real alternatives sitting on the same shelf, often for the same price, or only slightly more. You deserve to know that there are real alternatives sitting on the same shelf, often for the same price, or only slightly more. You deserve to know that there are real alternatives sitting on the same shelf, often for the same price, or only slightly more. Here is the practical challenge I am leaving you with today, and I want you to do this the next time you go grocery shopping. Before you reach for any box of pasta, any box at all, whether it is a brand you have trusted for 20 years or a new one you have never tried, stop for 1 second. Flip that box around. Look at the first ingredient. If it says anything other than durum wheat semolina or whole grain durum wheat, put it back. That is it. That is the entire test. One word: durum. That single word on an ingredient list is the difference between real pasta and the industrial filler that has been marketed to you as premium. Your blood pressure will thank you. Your kidneys will thank you. Your energy levels throughout the day will stabilize in ways you might not have expected. And most importantly, the medications your doctor prescribed will actually work the way they are supposed to, instead of fighting against a daily diet of empty carbohydrates that were never meant to nourish your body in the first place. You have spent your entire life earning the right to make informed choices. Do not let a box with an Italian name and a heritage story strip that right away from you. Read every label. Know exactly what you are putting into your body. Protect your health with the same care you would protect someone you love. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know you came here looking for answers about what is actually in the pasta you buy, and I hope you leave feeling equipped to make better choices for yourself and your family. Please subscribe to this channel so that you never walk into a grocery store uninformed again. I would genuinely love to hear from you in the comments. Tell me which pasta brand you have been buying most often and whether any of this information surprised you. Your stories matter, and they help me understand what topics matter most to the people watching. Like this video if it helped you, and activate the notification bell so you never miss a new upload. The next video is coming very soon, and we are going to expose the breakfast cereals that market themselves as perfect for seniors but are actually silently damaging your kidneys. I will